All right, it's 5:30 PM on Tuesday, August the 6th, 2024. I call this budget workshop at Kingsville Independent School District to order. We'll have roll call. Joe Morales.
Here.
Martin Chapa. David Garcia.
Present.
Joseph Reese.
Here.
Jacob Pettis.
Here.
Thelma Salinas.
Here.
Brian Kufal is here. Let the record show that there is a quorum of board members present and that this meeting has been posted in accordance with Government Code Chapter 551 of the State of Texas Open Meetings Act. We move now to item number 3, which is public participation. Ms. Pettis, do we have anyone who wishes to address the board?
No, sir.
All right, we move now to item number 4. Board of Trustees will conduct a workshop to discuss the following: A, C&I update; B, budget calendar; C, LED lighting presentation; D, 2024-2025 proposed budget; E, large expenditures; F, staffing ratios; G, retention pay; H, health insurance; I, defeasance; J, 2024-2025 proposed tax rate. This time we will begin with item A, which is the C&I update.
Good afternoon. I had just asked our CNI department if they wanted to share how the first, for the first couple of weeks of PD went. And the principals are here, just if anybody wanted to share anything about the first week of school so far, how it's gone at this time. And then they can leave.
Mr. Kufal, board members, we just wanted to share our calendar that we shared with the staff. And this is the calendar we followed the week of the 23rd, 24th. Those were our 2 PD days, professional development days. We also included on there the 22nd and the 25th, which is the whole week of professional development. The CNI department pretty much coordinated the professional development on the 23rd and 24th. And so you'll see the sessions that were available for our staff to attend. And we had surveys that they could respond back to us and give us feedback on the success of or where we needed to grow. Some of the feedback we received back from some of these sessions were that they liked the hands-on activities, which now we know that we want to add additional ones when we have our next PD days. They wanted more time for the sessions, which tells us that they really enjoyed the sessions. And then, of course, the space, they wanted bigger space because more people wanted to attend. So those are good things. Those are the majority of the survey results. Some of the workshops got survey results such as this, and some got this. And so we have lots of feedback for the people that presented and were facilitators.
Just here, what they did was they rotated through different sessions instead of everybody going at this time and so forth. So we did a little something different this year.
The other part I wanted to add was that this was also the first year that we connected all the registration training to be uploaded so that every teacher or staff member that signed up for a registration did the QR code at the end to give us feedback, and they were then registered in a database so that at the end of the year or any time during the year, they could request all of the PD that they attended in Kingsville ISD. So that was using our technology to be able to enhance how we are providing training for our teachers and be able to provide when our teachers need access to that. There were also some very, really good training topics that were required of our teachers. I know Ms. Zimmerman had some that were required as part of our compliance pieces. And so teachers knew those were mandatory. So this was also one of the first time in a few years that we had all of our PD, as Dr. Ballesteros mentioned, at the high school to provide all the teachers an opportunity, not only to integrate with, the campus and the high school, but with other teachers going into the sessions and continuing to create that model of we're all learning together, and provide the support that our teachers need for every indicator, every piece that's going to be required for PD this year. So I think the feedback was really great. We did have some pros and cons, which was good. And then most importantly, I really feel that our teachers want a little bit more of the delivery where it's not just sit and get. We had usually longer periods of training where most of our teachers come in and sit and receive training, and they really want to interact and get up and have movement and activities throughout every learning piece, just like our students do. We want to make sure that they're all engaging. And I also love that the team presented, but they also recruited some of our teachers, experts in their field, to say, would you come and join us and do training, because we know that you're an expert in these areas already. So definitely those are some of the highlights. Anybody of our team want to add anything?
Hello.
Okay, and so I think another great point of the PD, what happened within the team, was a lot of the sessions that we provided, the teachers gave them a lot of background knowledge to understand our district accountability and where all that data comes from. And so they had that background knowledge of why is there that lagging data, or what role do they play in the data that their students are producing and how that affects the district. So a lot of them left the PD with a better understanding of what happens behind the scenes and the role that they play in order to help that.
One of the things we were also able to do is bring in some of our reps from our curriculum companies. I helped facilitate our Eureka rep and our Carnegie rep. They were able to help our teachers go through lessons, plan, internalize that material, and it was a really great time to have those people on campus for us.
I feel it's kind of redundant at this point, but as you know,
Ms. created the QR
I
codes.
did.
Yes.
I was in charge of
Like
all the
in one
QR codes in one day. It was fun, and the surveys, pulling the data, that was my job as well. We had lots of fun. I don't know if anybody else did, but most of the people who put it together, we did this as a team, so that's always great. In the future, I hope it is as successful as it was this time.
Thank you. Thank you. Our principals as well participated in our PD by attending sessions with their teachers, because we do feel that they are learning alongside our teachers and know what the expectations are of what the district is expecting for every section of our professional development. So we continue to look forward to plan all year. They received a save the date today. We are going to be having fierce conversation training in district. All of the principals, assistant principals, and our CNI team, top leadership, Mr. Garcia and Porfi will all be required to attend phenomenal training on helping our leaders grow as professional leaders in fierce conversations training in Kingsville ISD. Okay.
And I do want to thank our principals for starting the school year off. The first week of school was very, very smooth considering, so thank you all so much. That's mainly why you're here, is because I want to publicly thank you all so much for starting the week off so smoothly.
Any questions?
I just have a comment.
Yes, sir.
I like the idea that most of the presenters are from within the district, like including teachers. And, we don't always want to go out for consultants because we have a lot of knowledge here within the school district with the faculty. So I like that part of it.
Definitely growing.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Okay.
I have a question. Because I know they're going to be leaving. And a few weeks ago, we met with the principals, with Dr. B and the principals that were here. Now, that has changed a little bit because Dr. Ballesteros is now in another position over here. Thank you for stepping up.
Thank you.
We also have a new principal, and Dr. Moore, is that correct? Moore, okay. We're thankful for that. And before you all leave, I know it's Mr. President at staffing ratios. And I'm gonna jump a little bit because they might be taking off. Tell us, we told you all at the meeting that if there's anything that's alarming with being a new principal at a new school maybe, or being overwhelmed by anything, we want you to still know we're still here, okay? I just wanted to bring that up, see if there's anything that that you all want to share as a principal?
I'm new and everybody's been amazing.
Give us your name.
I'm Nicole Lovelady. I'm the new
Ms.
principal
Lady.
at Harrell
I
Elementary.
got you, good.
I'm so excited. I love
Thank
the
you,
job.
Ms.
I love
Lady.
every day. Everything's been, everybody's been helpful. If I don't have an answer immediately, I'm getting an answer. I know we do have a grade level where we're working on some staffing. Dr. Bessanize has been on it. Like, it's, if I have something, I'm gonna come, and I think everybody
Good.
knows if I have an issue, I'm gonna voice it. So if
Good.
you haven't heard from me, we haven't had it. So
Ms. Lovelady was our assistant principal at Pettis last year, and then she was at Harvey before that. So
Good.
she's,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
I will just reiterate, we did have a meeting at the end of the first week. It's called We Survived the First Week
Yeah.
Principals. So we did meet and we did go over all the staffings by campus, by classroom, and by numbers. So we did it as a collaborative team so that all of the principals could see where everybody is and the numbers. And we have some recommendations to make regarding that. However, as a group, we agreed to wait another week because they were still having students coming into school this week because we started so early. They're still getting new student registration.
So Dr. Bessanize,
Ma'am.
are the positions filled at the campuses?
For the most part, we are still working on that. We have a few, particularly in special education, that we're struggling with. But it is not only here in Kingsville, it is across every district.
And I totally understand, but we're
Yes.
worried about Kingsville, not everybody else.
I understand, but everybody else is in the same situation
I know,
as we
but
are.
we need to worry about our district.
and we are, and we're communicating with other districts to see, do y'all have anybody that you'd like to send over? And they're like, we're looking for people, we don't have.
Who do we have in those positions right now, if we don't have teachers, certified teachers in there?
Dr. Bennett, with your, you can hear me, I'm speaking.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So, what we did the first week, for example, Lilian, when she's here to attest, she had 2 AE classrooms with no teachers that had picked up jobs. One, we almost hired, and then she decided not to take the job. So immediately, Dr. Lilian was on the phone with us, like, what are we gonna do to get ready for our children? So we had to look from within. Who do we have that's certified, that we can pull to welcome the children and get the campus settled with the materials they need and the folks that not just a sub, but somebody who understands special education. So we ended up pulling 2 of our team, which is Michelle Carranza and Melissa Gonzalez, our homebound teacher. So they stepped in. Dr. De Leon, do you want to add anything to
Is
that?
Michelle certified?
Yes.
She's
Well,
certified?
Miss
No, Melissa.
Melissa Gonzalez is a certified special ed teacher. Michelle is a para, but she's a specialized para that works with those type of students because she works on special olympics. Now, this isn't a long-term decision placement. This was just until we were to hire. She has now hired a full-time AE teacher, and now you have who on the other side?
We still have Michelle Perez.
Right, Michelle for right now, until she's able to find another teacher.
So Michelle's, she's the responsible for a classroom?
She's being supervised by the teacher who just got hired. But
So
we
we
have the
have 2
same,
classrooms with 1 teacher.
correct.
So how's she going back and forth?
So what we have right
I'll let her
So we
respond.
know.
So what we have right now, we had only 1 AE classroom at Bettis, right? So because of the numbers have grown, we now have 2. So we just recently hired an AE teacher. So in that AE classroom, we have 2nd to 5th grade. So we have a certified teacher now, and we have 2 paraprofessionals and a substitute to assist with the needs of the students in there. Now, the lower grades, we have kinder to 1st grade, and we have 10 students there. The other classroom had 11 students, that's why we had to separate. So in there, we have a substitute teacher, because we don't have a certified teacher in there. And then we do have one of our paraprofessionals that was working with in that setting last year. And then we have Michelle Corrales that's supporting, as well as a additional substitute.
So does Michelle have another job, or is that her only, is she just subbing, is
I
that
can
her
answer
job?
Michelle's other job originally was to assist OT and PT as a parent. So she would follow Chad and make sure that whatever our occupational therapist trained our students, she would go in later and fill in those gaps. She also leads our Special Olympics, which isn't until later in the year. So we did explain to her, and I have a secondary meeting with them in the morning, that this is only temporary. We have to pull together to fill in the classrooms that we need. Secondly, I told Dr. Bettis, okay, the other group that we do have that are certified teachers that can also step in and help are our dyslexia teachers. Even though they're serving students already, they did volunteer to step in and help us. I personally called them and said, this is the situation in the district. We have to be able to pull them together, including anybody who's special ed certified to be able to serve these students.
And I totally
Because there were some,
understand
as
that.
long as myself were getting calls from parents saying, I'm bringing my children and there's not a teacher. They were very concerned. So we had to assure the parents that we were working like we have been all summer to get certified teachers for these positions.
And our special ed, I don't know why this keeps, the special ed population just keeps growing. I mean, they're coming and they keep coming. And
So,
at the same
So
time, there's a shortage of special ed
Right.
teachers.
and at the same time, Dr. Bettis, we had another resignation of a wonderful, strong inclusion teacher that I actually highlighted at convocation, whose husband just got the job and will be leading in the area. So she just submitted her resignation.
How many total positions do we need to fill as far as special ed? What,
Does
where
everyone remember?
where do we have?
I can give an update for Gillette, but before that, just to indulge me just a little bit, the administrators at the district level have been very, very supportive. I have called Dr. Holt at all hours of the day and night, much to her chagrin, I'm sure. And her office have been very, very supportive with regards to all of the recommendations that we made to hire, they process them as quickly as possible. But there are some things that have been out of all of our control. For example, I have interviewed, I can't take credit, but we, as a team, have interviewed for to fill the assistant principal position at Gillette. We've gone 4 rounds. The first 3, they, for various reasons, nothing to do with us, they turned it down. We interviewed another person. We're taking that name to the board next week, I'm told. So hopefully, once y'all approve that, she'll come on board. She comes highly recommended. Her references are stellar. She's got the years of experience in instruction curriculum, and she's also a testing coordinator. And she was with Beeville ISD. So hopefully, the 4th one takes. We were hoping the 3rd one was a charm, but we're on number 4. So fingers crossed. We still are looking for a counselor. There are no counselor applicants available. And so the one that was on there, when we screened the application, it was lacking the experience that we needed for Gillette. So that's in the front. We're missing an inclusion teacher. We have 3. However, the other 2 inclusion teachers, Ms. Verial and Ms. She has a hyphenated name. Ms. Zimmerman, who's the inclusion teacher? And the other one is Rocha. Yeah, Ms. Rocha. They are stepping up and they are covering the students that 3rd teacher would be covering. Because I prefer not to have subs if I can, not have subs. And so right now, we don't have any subs. There are teachers certified in the positions that they're in. However, I had one of the teachers that we just hired probably a few weeks ago just turned in his letter of resignation. So this afternoon, right before I got here. I know, right?
Do we have to let him go?
I'll let Dr. Hull answer that question. I'm sorry. I don't know how to answer that question.
Okay.
Yeah, we can separate executive session.
Okay. But to also, I want to shout out to my 2 assistant principals. I have one assistant principal, Dr. Vargas, and the other one is an intern, Mr. Barrow. I want to tell you, those 2 individuals are like, I'm not going to say that that they could do it. The 3 of us could do it, but we're doing it. But we need, that extra person because we really do.
We are a campus with our students who have lots of needs and need a lot of support. So we're very encouraged to have that person come on board. But the two of them have just gotten in there and rolled up their sleeves, and we're just working, alongside one another. So that is where we are as far as Gillette Middle School.
Thank you.
So as far as span across the district, we have 6 positions. 2 are AE positions, which requires a span and the 4, so those are very difficult. 2 are inclusion, including the one that just was not, so there was 2. 1 being C and 1 early.
No, we did look at, because Dr. DeLeon, we really wanted to help her, and we understand how worried she was. We looked at the numbers of kids that were being served by homebound, and at the time there was only 1 student. So we felt like we could put her in Pettis for that first week for sure, week and a half, until she hired that other person, and for the needs of the kids that were there. So it was going to be 1 homebound student that she was served at the certain hours that she could, and then the rest of the time she's helping Dr. DeLeon that needed to fill that position, that space, to make sure our kids were safe there. So she and Ms. Viales they work very well together. So that's why we asked them, can you all go help Dr. DeLeon during this time while she's hiring and going through the process of paperwork to get that person? And they did, and we really appreciated that too.
May I add one more thing too? Also, I just wanted to assure you, even when we are looking at our long-term subs, we are also finding those who are attempting to go through their ACP program. So for example, like at Harvey, our ECSE teacher, our long-term sub, she is currently going through the ACP program, and she eventually would love, if it was still available, to become the ECSE teacher of record, and hired that way. We're even looking at our paras. We have a lot of amazing paras out there with bachelor's and master's degrees. Even last year, I lost some amazing paras because we were helping them become gen ed teachers as well. So we're looking at that even for, to step up and become the special ed teachers that we know that they can be. So we are definitely trying in many different ways to ensure even that stability for the kiddos. And I've had just some parents the other day saying that they absolutely loved, for example, Ms. Salazar, that long-term sub who is trying to become a teacher and stuff too. So we're being very cognizant of that. We're trying to build our own, grow our own, and support the students as much as possible, as stable as possible, consistent.
I think that as a district, and we have such a need for special ed, we need to sweeten that deal a little bit, and we need to quit worrying about KISD and whatever their pay scales are. I could care less about that. If we're not going to get these teachers in, we need to make it sweet where they can want to come into the workforce and not worry about something that's not a mandate. It's what we approve, and it's what we need to do here to get these right people in here, because we're hurting right now. So we need to quit worrying about, well, this is how much let's add more to it. We've done that in other parts, so let's do it here.
Yeah, we definitely need to sweeten the deal for special ed, definitely. And we had talked about that when we had a community meeting last week with the judge and the mayor and everybody else that was there, that if we can get some funding to help us with the roofs, with the parking lots, with the ACs, we could use some of that money to sweeten these deals, because it's very competitive. Districts are having to look at that because of, especially in special ed, the dire need for special ed teachers. And the state is not really making it easier for teachers to become teachers. For an elementary teacher, they have to take 7 tests to become certified. Dr. Villarreal from A&M Keysville was saying, I could have a really good math person that did really well on the math part of the elementary tests and the science and the others, but they didn't pass the music one, the fine arts one, so they don't get certified. It's ridiculous. So as much as we can voice to the universities, to our legislators, of the fact that it is getting harder and harder to become a teacher, so then fewer and fewer teachers are going into the field, and yet there's a huge need, especially in SPED. for this.
I think adding to that, a stipend, whatever, sign on bonus, something that's gonna get these people here. Because if this continues, we're gonna be in trouble with our numbers.
Right.
So it needs to be something that's gonna say, I wanna go to Kingsville. You know,
And teach
it's new people to come in, and they're offering 2,500 over here, they're offering 5,000. We need to take care of this. people.
Right. Luckily, we have our regular ed teaching fields pretty much filled. It's the sped that's been the hardest to do.
When do we stop?
We keep
Because
going.
we're not providing the assistance to our special ed population. And we're overworking our administrators.
When do we stop?
So when do we stop taking kids?
Oh, we can't. If they live in our area,
MTI process, you need a good MTSS process.
if they live in Kingsville.
What's an MTS? That's another acronym. What is
To
that?
intervene in the general ed. That's what we.
But a lot of the, for example, the population that the news getting, they're coming to us already identified. We're already spent children coming to us. Some of them have private nurses, some of them are in wheelchairs, some of them are gonna need more and more. So we can't say,
I'm just concerned that next year, we're not gonna see these principals here because they're gonna get burned out.
Right.
That's my concern.
It's burning out a lot of us. But.
No, it's burning out me. I'm not even.
I know.
But I do want to say thank you for your support.
You're welcome anytime, sir. You got a vest, I can get a vest with your name on it.
I'll drive the bus.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Y'all can go home and
Principal,
rest.
thank you so much. Sorry for jumping all the way, but I wanted to
I
let
mean,
you.
I think that was a good conversation.
Yeah,
That was really good.
especially while they're here.
All right, we move now to item number 4B, which is the budget calendar. Dr. Fitz.
Alex, I'm having a little trouble with the microphone. You hold him.
Okay, I think I figured out the microphone. Good evening, Mr. Kufal, Dr. Pettis, members of the board. Our first item is the budget calendar. Right now, this is our last budget meeting, budget workshop today. We need to post the proposed budget on the internet and the proposed tax rate in the newspaper. We have to submit that by this Friday. So both of them will become live next Thursday. So that's where we are as far as timeline. We don't approve anything today, but what we post in the newspaper and on the website, we're going to talk about today so that you guys are understanding what will be posted, and I've received your input.